All right, today we're going to talk about pricing strategies and how to optimize margins if you're choosing to do some service-based arbitrage. Again, this is something I've been doing for years, and so I get really excited to be able to teach other people how to enjoy more freedom using it. One of the things that I struggled with in the beginning was actually figuring out how to optimize margins and make really good money off of deals that were being done. That came because the fulfillment that I was using in the beginning of my career in service-based arbitrage, it was more expensive than it needed to be. So, for example, I had closed a deal that was around $11,000, and my cost was like 9,000, right around 9,000. That has changed drastically now. What's super helpful is I've now found individuals that will build websites for $500, and you could go charge somebody $7,000 for a website, right? Which would be really cool. So if you took 7,000 minus the 500, you'd make $6,500 in profit. Ideally, what you should shoot for is getting a 50 to 95% margins on the deal that you're doing. So, for example, if you know your cost is going to be $2,000, then you should at least make $4,000 on the deal. What's helpful as well is to understand that pricing really is important when it comes to the longevity of the client and helping them understand the results that they're going to be getting. So, what I mean by that is if you have a client that you're charging, let's say you're doing some search engine optimization for someone. Now, ideally, if you're using service based arbitrage, somebody else is going to be doing the actual heavy lifting for you, right? So you're going to want to find somebody that's willing to do all of that work, for 200, 300 bucks, or less. That way you're able to capitalize on creating recurring income. Because again, let's say your client is paying you $700 a month, but your cost is only $200, right? Your margin is $500 a month, which is super cool. And you don't even have to do any of the work. What's nice is if you keep your price point at a level that's competitive and that makes sense for the business, they'll stay for a longer period of time. You'll experience lower churn. This stems from an economic principle called the elasticity of demand, right? It's very interesting. Like if we look at Netflix, for example, right, they've got millions of users. But they've kept their price relatively low. It's around, I think, like 13-ish bucks at the time of this recording. If they were to raise their prices to $100, they would have a group of individuals from their current customer base that stayed, but a large amount of those people would leave because it felt like it was too much. So ideally, what you're trying to figure out is charging what the market will bear in order to increase longevity or lifetime value, LTV, of your client. And that's a really great pricing strategy, right? Figuring out how to price the product so that people stay for a really long time. I know that's something that will help you in your business. And what I would try in the beginning is if you're just trying to ease into it, right? You want to charge as much as you can. But as you're just learning, maybe if you know your cost is, $200, you're going to be able to really easily bring in some clients for, 400, 500 bucks. And when I say easy, that's relative. It's going to require you to do some work, right? Getting on the phone, talking to people, finding people in Facebook groups, whatever you may do to find clients. But you can slowly raise your price as you kind of do experiments on what works for your clients staying over a certain period of time and them leaving. I found that search engine optimization tends to have a greater amount. More people tend to stay for longer simply because SEO, or helping somebody rank higher than their competitor, generally takes a long time in and of itself, 8 to 12-ish months. And so there's kind of longevity built into it. That can help a lot when it comes to pricing because that means you get to collect money for a lot longer. I've had clients for a really, really long time that have done or that did SEO, or that are doing SEO or that have done SEO in the past. Websites and website maintenance also tends to be something with a lot of longevity. And the reason for that is that people feel like they need their website for a long time. So that's a great way for you to collect recurring income for a really long time. Right. And the example of that would be, let's say you charge somebody again $7,000 for a website, great price point, and we're only charged by a fulfillment individual $500. So that means you profited $6,500. Now, let's say that you find somebody that's willing to host or manage the website, take a look at it for $15 a month to make sure that it's up and running and things are good. You can find that fairly easily. And let's say you charge somebody $200 a month. That means you just made $6,500 in profit in order to now collect $185 a month of pure profit without having to do any of the work. It's really cool. So think about those things. Try to kind of summarize this idea is figure out how you can get 50 to 95% margins on deals that you're doing by optimizing who is doing the actual fulfillment for you in the arbitrage. And then make sure that your price point is one that is conducive to longevity, the client staying as long as possible, and that it also is something that is high enough that it makes sense for you to be able to do business with your potential client. I hope that's helpful. Excited to be able to continue sharing things that I know will make your life easier, will allow you to have more freedom. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about what I've done and how we could potentially help you, you can check out the link in the description below where you could book a call with one of my team members to be able to kind of go over some strategy or ideas on how we can help you with this stuff. But hope you have an absolutely wonderful week. You all deserve the best. We'll see ya.